Staffing model can be assigned while creating an org or after it is created as a separate task called edit staffing model. So if we don't have any staffing activities ongoing, like position is created or position is in the process of being approved, we can still change the staffing model of any of our support. So how do we do that? I go to human resources. I have one member here. Let's go to our engineering department. And we don't have any staffing activity here as yet. So it is important that if I have any staffing activity going on, I cannot change the staffing model for any of my organization. So if I look at hardware engineering, I don't have any activities ongoing. I don't have any members here, or I don't have any staffing activity. So what I can do is I can go here. This is my staffing model edit. It is organization. Identifiers. I'm using this for bulk changes, but I should have access to edit staffing model in my uh, support edit as well. But let's try to do it this way. So 15. Let me search for our support 15 to 110 hardware engineering. So from here, I can change my staffing model from position management to job management or job management to position management if I need to, till the time I don't have any staffing activity ongoing in my organizations. So let me put in filter here in 15. For example, if I want to change it for here as well, I can bulk select and make changes to my superorgs staffing models from here in bulk if I need to. So even from here, organization, oh yes, there we are. So if I go to the related actions, if I go to organization, and here I see the option for edit staffing model. So even from here, I can select which kind of staffing model I need for my hardware engineering. Let's say, for example, if I go to my organization, which is already having staffing activities, like this has a worker and it has a position restriction that is available to be filled. If I go to organization in here, I will not see the option for edit staffing model anymore. All right. So once a position has been created in position management or hiring restriction have been set in the job management, the edit staffing model task is no longer available. So we just saw the task of maintaining staffing model where you can see the entire list of all the supports, and you can do a filter on it, find your organization, and you can change them in more than one in one go. It allows you to view all supports and that have the staffing model selected, but do not yet have any positions or job created. A few questions to all of you. Which staffing model has the most control? Second question, which staffing model is the most flexible? So the condition is if you don't have any staffing activity ongoing, either for position creation or hiring or members are not there, then you can change at any time. But if you have activities ongoing, then you cannot make changes to the staffing models. So what are the hiring restrictions set when using a job management staffing model? The question number 4, what are the hiring restrictions set when using a job management staffing model? Remember, in position management staffing model, we apply all the restrictions or whichever restrictions we would like to apply, we apply it on the position. Each and every position has its own set of restrictions in position management. But in job management, we apply the staffing restrictions on the super level, at the supervisory organization level. So we don't have to create a position for each and every person that we need to hire. And once we set the position restriction on the super, it will be applicable to all the workers hired in that organization. Which staffing model requires a position to be open in order for a worker to be hired, contracted, transferred in? So that takes care of our staffing model. Uh, Next, we are going to start with jobs and positions. So the disclaimer, as usual, to a position management supervisory org type. From position management to job management, I doubted that you can do that. Let's look at our, we have our position management. We created a support for job management as well. Try to see which one was our operations. Okay, let's see. We did create a job management group into our supports. Staffing details. So in hardware engineering, let me create a support. Create subordinate. If I create subordinate, then it will inherit the position and type from the superior organization. So let's do one thing. That's fine. Say 7.1. We call it hardware designers 15220. Code include name. Let's call it a group as well. CT New York. Okay, submit. Now I've created the standalone organization 15 to 10 or 15 to 20. And if I go to staffing model, I have it right here, and let me change this to organization, get staffing model. Let's make it job management. And for example, I have this person working in my supervisory organization in position management, and I need to move this worker. So let me copy this name, text. Reorganization, move workers by organization. Say I want to move this person as of yesterday and 15220. So it is allowing me to move this position to an engineering department, but not to a different kind of department that we just created. First, but the sphere organization 15 to 10, more or less, job management. Yes. So I can move the people from job management to position management type of organization, but from position management to job management, it is not applicable. It cannot be done. So you'll have to create, basically, when you have a position created, you can move a worker from a position to a position. But most probably, we may be able to do it when we have more positions created in our organization. So say, set hiring restrictions for this organization. New organization, availability date, say 7/1, earlier hire date, say I want to be able to have Friday, and say I give no job restrictions. How to design a group? I go ahead and look at the details. I'm okay with it. I'll approve. And this event has been successfully completed by, it was initiated by Logan, now Joy Banks. The reason why I'm switching between the people login is because I don't have start proxy access on this tenant. So the hiring business process transaction was completed. Availability date is 7/1, early start date is 7/2. Now let's try to go to our support and copy our name, organizations, reorganization, move workers by organization, say 7/12. I want to move this person. So with my hiring restrictions, I cannot move this person to the staffing organization, job-based or a support. Let's try another person just to make sure. Text, reorganization, move worker by organization, say today. It's not allowing me to move to a job-based organization, job management organization. So from job management, I can move people to position management, but not in job management. Questions are always very spot on and futuristic. So once we cover our bulk loads in the course work, when we go to our EIBs, At that time, we can see how we can create load files for. So the agenda for jobs and position is going to be creating job positions. We're going to go through an overview, creating positions and jobs, and then hiring restrictions. We are going to physically going to do that. We may have covered some part of it already. So what are jobs and what are positions in Workday? So as we discussed, for any soup org that we create, especially in the position management staffing model, we have to have a position created in order to hire somebody on this role. Even if it's a new hire, if it's going to be a transfer in, if it's going to be a promotion, any kind of activity I need to do for a worker, a position must be there because when we promote somebody, it has to be on a higher level or a newer position. So the position is a must to be created in position management staffing models. We have seen that here we use a job profile of. If I look at Ashlyn Burns and if I look at her job profile, say HR manager. So in a job profile, we can see that we have an overview of the entire job profile, which has job title, restriction to country, management level, job families, job category, job classification, work share, public jobs, referral payment plan, if there's any, a job description, a job summary, job code, job profile name, effective date, and then all the related characteristics, the compensation details, the compensation by job profile level, and all the other data in addition to qualifications, and you have all the tabs for qualifications, and then you have a next step for pay. So initially, either we need to create these job profiles one by one, or we can bulk load it into the system for creating the job positions. But we can do it manually as well. So let's go back to our support. And here we have the job profile of Chief Executive Officer, right? So I want to create a new job profile. How do I do that? So create job profile. I search for this and I look at the task and reports and say, I click on create job profile. I have to give an effective date when this job profile is in effect. So I use the first of this month and say, I want to use the ZaranTech Chief Executive Officer. If I want to give a specific job code to this job profile, I can do that. Otherwise, I can leave it blank and the system can auto-generate using the sequence generator for job codes within the tenant. How do we set up the sequence generator is something that we'll discuss later down the road. I can give a default job title, say Chief Executive Officer ZT. If I want to restrict this job profile for a specific country, I can do that. Say I want to also have India and United Kingdom. This job profile can be used in these three location countries. Management level, I'll use the number 2, Chief Executive Officer. Job level, CEO. Job family, executive management. Job category is going to be, say, direct labor. Company insider type, if I have any of the insider type setups, I can use that. If I have any referral plans to set up in my company, I can select that. So I don't need a worksheet for this. And I want this job profile to be active. And when public job attribute is true, it shows in the public profiles as well for the user. Let's call it public. Company Insider is basically a US government's section code that you have to, when you're reporting the equal opportunity provider reports to the US government, you have to share the company insider type and there's another task, the workers' compensation codes. So whenever you're doing the EEO reporting on a year-to-year basis, you have to provide the worker compensation code and the company insider type within that report. That how many employees of which origin and their ethnicity, their background. So whenever, say for example, a company in US is required to have equal opportunity providers for male, female, people from ethnic backgrounds, such as how many are Asians, how many are Americans, how many are from South America, and so on. So such information is managed by these. So this is kind of the level of the worker, and the compensation code is the type of worker. So these two information, along with other information from your tenant about the workers, would be able to populate those EEO reports at the end of the year. All right, so in restriction to countries, we have selected 3 countries. So we need to have period ties for 3 countries as well. So United States. For this position, I want it to be a salary type, a salaried person in United Kingdom. Say if this person is hired in UK as per the laws and as per the legal requirement, this could be an hourly paid person. And say India, I may select as salary person. So characteristics, if this position is difficult to fill, I can select it. I can say hard or I can say easy. So for example, this is a hard position and this is a critical job as well because it's for my CEO. Here I can define a compensation grade for this kind of this job profile. I'll say executive, and here I can select the countries. Here is so I've selected 3 grade profiles. And again, this is for the if somebody is in hourly salary, I have to select job exemption for them. So for US, we have salary, but for UK, we have as an hourly person, so I'll have to put the job exemption. Job exemption defines that if a person needs to work overtime, so a salaried person would not have an option to work overtime, but an hourly person could have an option to work overtime. So hence the exemption can be selected that they are exempted from the standard 40 hours a week. Here I can say the compensation code, say 8810. So that's it, office, clerical office employees. So I can select that. And if I need to add any more information in the job profile, like certifications, competencies, education, languages, responsibilities, skills, training, and work experience, I can put it in the job profile as well. Here, I can select my job classification by country, select executive official manager. So file summary, JD. So this is what I need. This is the kind of information that I would need to create a job profile. So if I press OK, so if I go back to my staffing position, see, for example, I go here, I can edit this. And let's see if I can find my job profile now. So whenever I have all whatever details that I filled in my job profile, it will can be auto-populated in the position restriction. So like we selected GT New York employee and the difficulty is hard, it's a critical job. So it will auto pull all the information based on the job profile in my positions as well. If I select a job profile and I have not selected no job restrictions, I press submit. So this is how I can create my job profiles. And of course, this can be done in bulk as well through EIBs, which we will cover later down the course. Job profiles describe general characteristics of a job or a position, can be assigned to multiple positions or workers, can have one-on-one relationship with positions such as CEO. So as you would have one CEO in the company and a job profile would be only used for one person. Or one-to-many relationship like executive assistant. So you can have one job profile, but many of the positions can use the same job profile for your hiring on the positions. So we just created a job profile and saw how it's done. If you remember in our job profile, we had job family. So let's open our job profile. Here we have selected the job family of executive management. Great. Now, in Workday, you can have a job family group. You can have job families. And in job families, you can club your job profiles together. And the positions are hired with the job profile. So what a job family here in this example is you have a high level job family group called human resources. And in human resources, you can have two job families as well. HR services, HR benefits. And in HR services, you have these HR specialists and HR generalist job profile and benefit analyst job profile. So this is how you create the family group as a top level hierarchy. And then you can have multiple job families in there. And then you can have your job profiles within your job families. So in this way, with the job family and job family group, you can start creating a group hierarchy within your tenants for all the job profiles and the positions that you're hiring. So when you're doing reporting or when you're giving benefits or allowances, you can use the job family groups and job families to apply those changes at a large scale. So you don't have to go to each and every job profile, but you can apply those implications on either job family or at the job family group level. So job catalogs. So when you have those job profiles, they are in job families and then further trickling up to job family group. So on the top level, if you look at that, finances are job family group. So all the plans, it plans, oversees, administers all aspects of the organization financial operations. So that's the job family group. But in finance, you can have multiple job families like accounting, budget, investment, student financial sector. And you can have these various job profiles across all these job families. But the order to do it in Workday is going to be a bit different. Say in Workday, you create family group. The task name is create job family group. I'm going to use the 1st of July and say ZTHR. And we have not created any specific job families for ZT. So I'm going to leave it blank for now. Next I will do is create job family. Okay, and I'll use the 7/1 date. And job family name is say ZTHR operations. And I can select ZTHR as my family group. If I have a list of job profile that I would like to be in this family group, I can add them. In this job family, I can add them, but let's do that later on. Now I want to create another job family. Recruiting and recruiting. And again, I can use the same family group. If I run this report for job family group, say the THR, I select this, I will see that I have these two families within my ZTHR family group. And each job family can have a series of job profiles linked to this job family. What is a job catalog? So let's look at the job catalog as well within this tenant. So this is a report in Workday in your tenant that will give you all the job family and job family group and family information, the job profile that is in those job families, the job profile ID, summary, management level, job profile exam, job classification group, and compensation grades impacted. So with this, you can have a list of all your job catalogs or job profiles that are in your tenant and what job family groups and families they are part of, all the related details. So again, this is a standard report provided by Workday. Here, if I see, so here you can see it's a standard report. I cannot make any changes to the standard report because I don't see any added options. But if I need to use this as a base, I can create a copy of this report. So if I click on copy, and now I can make changes to this report with the on the copy of the standard custom report from Workday. I can make changes, add more columns, add more business objects, add feeds, do my filtering, sharing, my advanced, my prompts. I can set up the way I would like to if I would need to use it as a baseline report and then build my own analysis on top of it. So your job catalog is a cornerstone of the hierarchy of jobs within your organization. The job catalog may include levels, titles, consistently applied, grades, compensation, and locally and individual job profiles within the job catalog has all of these elements. It is the foundation of all other areas of your workday deployment, including the talent, recruiting, compensation, career, mobility, and succession planning. These are the delivered elements within the job profile. So your when we create a job profile, your management levels, your job classification, and your job description, these are all job profile delivered elements. Let's try. We have seen that how we can create, select the grade and grade profiles. Let's try to create them in our tenant. So for example, here we saw that we have created the compensation grade profiles, and what do they mean, and how does it, uh, how is the setup in Workday? So I selected the task called compensation plans. And in this, I have all my compensation plans available within the tenant. So my salary plans, my hourly plans, my unit salary plans, period salary plans, allowance plans, unit allowance plans, merit plans, any bonus plans, commission plans, stock plans, future payment plans, one-time payment plans, and all other plans would be here under this compensation plan report. So let's look at one of the salary plans that is already mentioned here. So this is a general salary plan, the plan name, plan description, then it has eligibility rules as to who is eligible in the system for this plan. I right click on this, open it in a new window. So this is how we can set up the eligibility. So organization and superior organization compensation. This is the source field within Workday. Relational operator is any in the selection list. So I would like to select which organizations can be part of this rule, which is say BR salary eligibility rule. And here we have a list of name of departments that are eligible for this salary eligibility rule for this compensation plan. So whenever you create a rule or a condition within Workday, there are multiple operators available. So here I will select the field, say organization, superior organization, that I would like to base my rule on. And in relationship opportunities, I'm saying any in the selection list. So in this business object field, give me the list of all the available related objects in there. Or I can select, say, none in the selection list. So there is going to be a selection list, but then I can select and it will be excluded. Any in the selection would be included in the list that I can select. I can have another option, say it's empty or it's not empty. So these are logics for your filters. And value specified in this filter is going to be looking for values in this field, the source external field for condition rule. If I need to pull a value from somewhere, from another field, I can even select that and I can pull in a value and do a cross comparison of this field and the other value that I pull in from another field. Now, if I click here, I will see all the organizations within the tenant. Company, hierarchy, cost center, divisions, division hierarchy, external payroll, and everything that's available in the tenant. So even if I want to say ZT, it'll give me all the information about my ZT as well. And maybe I can add them here. So now this salary eligibility rule contains BR district department, BR district, BR corporate, and also our ZT company LLC, hardware designers group, and job management type support for Logan would name 15900. And that's the one we created. So when I press OK, so I have expanded my eligibility to include our support and company as well. And this eligibility rule, and say, let's rename it. Let's call, or in fact, let's make a copy of this and let's remove this from here. This is somebody else's rule. Compensation eligibility. So I won't be able to copy this. Let's add it here. And let's call it ZT slash PR salary eligibility rule. So if I refresh this, now the general salary plan would be available to ZT and BR against this eligibility rule. So for any compensation salary plan, we would need to have compensation element like base pay. So if I look at standard base pay, so the element name is standard base pay, composed of compensation elements. So it has base pay and apprentices base pay. So let's get a compensation element as well. And standard base pay is included in compensation element group, and all the countries are listed here that are included in this standard base pay component. Similarly, we can set up all our compensation plans for hourly type of plans, for unit salary plans. If we have a period-based plans, we can set that up. Any allowances plans that we need to set up, we can create all the allowances plans and then even set the eligibility rules for all those allowances. Unit allowance plans as well. So you can create all different kind of plans for your salary, for your payroll, for your compensation. And if I need to create a compensation plan, how do I do that? create compensation. So first of all, you need to create a stock plan for that.
Yeah.
Like we can see here, so stock plan name, the description, what's the frequency, what's the RSU, the grant category, vesting schedule, expiration date, and percentage of target. And then you set up the eligibility rules as to who are eligible for this stock plan. Your eligibility rule assignment is bonus global UK elected deferred compensation. Let me open that in a new tab and let's look at the eligibility criteria for this. Eligibility rules. So there's a waiting period that 3 months from the hire date is required for anyone to get the stock plan if they fall in this eligibility. So for here, the rule is on fixed term contract is equal to no. So anybody who is on a fixed term contract is not eligible for this compensation plan. All the supervisory organizations, the Global Support UK and Ireland group is eligible. This org is only eligible for this, and all countries of location if they are based in the United Kingdom. So you can have a nested rule condition as well, where you have
Okay.
more than one rule where you are restricting something or you're allowing something. So rules are used to in eligibility, they are used or anywhere in the tenant, they are used to either allow or restrict or a combination of both. So once you set up these rules, then go into your sandbox, hire up well earlier dated employee, as say 3 months ago, and when you hire that employee, see if the rule is applying to that employee in your sandbox tenant. Here you can see the rule usage that which is being used by which stock plan, which compensation rule used by compensation rollout, and so on. Also, I have an option for testing my rules, say view eligible workers or test the rule. So I can test it for a given employee, or I can see, say, view eligible workers. Not a report, it's a subtask of your eligibility criteria or your rules in your eligibility criteria. Interactive in this area. So you get a lot of options available. So the more you explore, the more you learn and the more you know. Say, set to instance to test, say, Ashton. So when I'm hiring Ashton Burns, is this rule eligible for Ashton? And it gave me a result of say, no, it is not eligible because Ashton is not based in UK. His super is not Global Support UK and Ireland Group. And it gave me a test result. So if I need to test it for one particular person, as your question was, you can test it. You can customize your eligibility rules the way your company policies says it. You can set it up based on locations. You can set it up based on SUPOCs. You can base it on the type of employee, their management level, their job profiles to set up your eligibility rules. Depending on the policy of your company, a Workday is so customizable that you can create your own condition rules based on the objects and the information from a job profile or a worker characteristics, and you can set it up accordingly. Let's look at another task called compensation packages, effective as of date. So select today. So here I will see all the compensation packages configured in my tenant. So let's look at an executive compensation package. So here my eligibility rule says that it's going to let me close all my other tabs. Close tabs to the right. So here I'm selecting based on management level. So the executive compensation package is available for board of directors, chief executive, and EVPs. And the compensation group is salary. So my compensation grade is going to be executive. Let's look at how it's set up. So in my compensation grade in executive, the base pay element is standard base pay. Eligibility rules we just saw. The currency is USD. Frequency is annual. And this is the pay range that I've established in my compensation package or compensation grade. The total base pay, on target earning, and total compensation. If I look at my grade profiles, I have grade profiles for each country. So here, this is a grade profile for Australia. I have my minimum, I have my 4 segments, and then I have my midpoint. So it'll give me a range of salary of to what segments of salaries I can propose for this grade profile. And additionally, if I have any additional earnings, on target earnings like a bonus plan or commission plan, I can have that here as well in my grade profiles. Then I have my Brazil grade profile, then I have my Canada grade profile, China grade profile. And here you will see 2 kind of values in my grade profiles. So as my company is based out of US, my default currency or my the default currency for this grade profile will show in Chinese yen. And it'll show me a conversion rate, and then I can see the conversion done by the system based on the rate date that is populated in the system. And it'll show me my base currency for the company that I am using this job profile on and the currency that we set for our company. So that will be the base currency, and these will be the regional currencies. So if the person is in China, they will see the CNY conversion, Chinese yen conversion. So if I'm in Denmark, below I will see the rate in US dollars, and above I will see the rate in, say, Danish kroners based on the grade profile country. So when you have a multinational organization that you need to manage, such tools really, really come in handy. If I look at the compensation plans for the executive package, what are the plans available for this package? So the allowance, mobile, allowance car, executive housing allowance, and if the country eligibility rules is set for Japan, so there's a family allowance there. If the worker is in Japan, then merit, salary, bonus, then Australian super education, and the eligibility rule for that is I can look at the compensation basis as well if there's any setup. So I think we got a little off track from our compensation from our job profiles. And so now we have seen how we can create our or we can see our grades and grade profiles, compensation plans for different type of plans, salary, hourly, allowance, stock, and how do
Yes, sir.
we club them together in a compensation package? That's a good question. Let me come back to you later on with this answer. Grade levels. So we have seen that we can create the compensation grades as well in our compensation packages or compensation details. So the pros of using grade, bands, or level is it's a useful guideline. So you can set up the minimum and maximum salary that you want to use on the grades. It can be used in advanced compensation. It can be used in proposed request compensation as valuable, and it'll give you a level or a range of salary for each grade that you are hiring that person into or proposing a compensation change for that person. Can be used in step conditions and eligibility rules as well. So the cons of this is if you have a global job catalog, it is beneficial. So if your grades are not global, then you can have you must have multiple job profiles. So an example of grades. So do you associate ranges or guidelines to jobs? If no, then just have hourly or salary plans and don't have grades. But if you do, are these grade bands or levels that define these ranges? So if you don't have them, so do you market price individual jobs? If yes, then grades one-on-one basis with job profiles. So you create your grades based on your job profiles. But if you have grade bands, so grade bands levels should be the grade levels. You can have grades based on geography, region, or zone, and then populate them in your job profile. So this is useful for a company who is working out of multiple countries and they have a wide hierarchy or the pyramid or the fee structure at a wider level where you need to set up grades and grade profiles and grade by countries and you need to have different grade pay ranges within each grade. So let's have a look at it as to what it looks like in the tenant. Let's go to Logan's profile and see how the grade profile helps. So if I go to compensation, here it's giving me a grade profile of USA California and it's giving me a three-tier base pay range. So it could be from 105 to 137 to 170,000. So your steps give you an idea of what kind of salaries or pay ranges could be used for this particular grade. Say if a grade was say USA New York, this value might be different. If I understand your question correctly, to answer that, let me open the compensation package. So let me say, so if I see here, I am setting up my compensation packages, say, for the highest level is executive, highest level is management. Then I have a sales compensation package. Then I have a team member compensation package. Every compensation package can have eligibility based on the position or the level of the worker that is available in the job profile. Let me open up the management.
So what is the highest level for this management?
If I open the executive one,
Okay.
here I can set up the eligibility that my management level is between 1 and 3 should be assigned the executive compensation package. That's my eligibility. If I look at this, the management, so level 4 to 6 and not in sales should get this management package. And similarly, say if I have 9 levels of my management levels. So if I look here, say executive management, or in fact, let me take this 4 to 6. Let's look at the eligibility rule. Management, eligibility rules. Here, I see that my management level compensation is 4, 5, 6. Any in the selection list. And compensation group is salaried and job family and family groups. Remember we talk about family and family groups as to how
Yeah.
we grip job profiles together. I think that these job family groups should not none in the selection list. That's my relationship of operators. It means I'm excluding these people,
Excluding
even
those people.
yeah, even if they are in 4, 5, 6 management level, they cannot have this management level. Correct. Anybody
Yeah.
who's related to sales or the sales job, family and family group, I would not like them to have this. Maybe for them, I may have a compensation package which has commissions or bonuses in them. In this tenant, it is set up as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or maybe going up down to 9. We can look at the management level in a few minutes. But when you're setting up your tenant, or when you are, getting or migrating into Workday, you will have an exercise with one of your Workday consultants or your deployment partner who is partnering with Workday to deploy your organization or migrate your organization to Workday. They will get all these basic information about the processes and policies and the management level, uh, the job families you may have, the job profiles that you already have, the positions that you already have. And all these will be set up and configured as a default within your tenant on your first day of operations in Workday. So there is going to be a whole project where your current processes, policies, and established roles and management levels and such things will be taken into account, configured, and delivered to you when you go live on your Workday tenant. I understand, and I absolutely support your questions. And say management level. If I look at this management hierarchy, I have on one order number one, I've got one board of directors, two chief executive officer, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, and so I have it till eight. Break this management level to each job profile as well, or I can just leave the job profiles away and I can have it open and select these management level at the time of creating my job profile or at the time of hiring a
Right.
person. So when we talk about grades and grade profiles, especially grade profiles, we can set them up by locations. For example, an accountant intermediate in Chicago would have a minimum of 50,000, maximum of 70,000, and the mid range would be 60,000. But the same grade, if that person is working in New York or in California, their minimum and maximum would be could be different because of the cost of living in those states or any other specific requirement for that location. For example, there might be some implications of taxes in the state of California that they are higher, or the cost of living in California is higher, or the EPA taxations are higher, or there's some other things. That's why you need to have a different min, mid, max range for different locations for variety of reasons. So depending on where your company is operating and how the restrictions or the requirements are, you can set up your grade profiles based on each and every location as well, where your company operates in.